Moving, moving on to roll call, starting with Executive Council, President Brito.
He's frozen. You can mark him. He's here.
Are we good?
Yeah, he just called.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Oh, I'm present.
Wait, would you be considered late? Well, you're in the meeting.
Until roll call ends.
Now, Vice President, Vice President of Administration and Finance, Tao, present. Vice President of Legislative Affairs, Ashmi.
He's here online, right?
Yeah, there he is.
I know where that guy's at. He's at World Dairy Expo.
Sorry, did you hear me? Present.
I hear you
I'm
now.
present.
Vice President of Team Development, Salifu.
Present. I will be there in a couple minutes too.
Advisor Cole.
Present.
Move to Trust Campus Senators, Senator Avila.
Present.
Senator Sarah Brunner.
They sent in the chat that they're here.
Senator Kamara.
Present.
Senator Jackson Winters.
Present.
Senator Jacobson.
Present.
Senator Drew.
Present.
Senator Wilkin.
Present.
Move to regional and metro campuses. Portage, Senator Crowder.
Present.
Reedsburg, Senator Stacy Bronner.
I'm present.
Fort Atkinson, Senator Dirks.
Present.
Goodman South, Senator Bissonnette.
Present.
Forum Mitt.
Oh, quorum's met. Thank you. Okay. Well, because quorum's met, we're an official meeting. Welcome to our General Assembly meeting of the Madison College Student Senate. This is a public meeting and it will be recorded for transparency and record-keeping purposes. We're going to cover a few basic items before beginning. If you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling on the number in your original email. The senators and other members online, please activate your video. You're on for the duration of the meeting, if it's possible. That does count towards attendance. Hassan is an exception because we know he's at World Dairy Expo for an academic event, and he covered that. Nahai is coming in shortly. I don't know about everybody else. I'm just starting the meeting, but in general, use the raise hand feature when you'd like to be recognized to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote. As chair, I'll do my best to call on the committee members in the order in which hands are raised. At this point, the next point on there is approval of the previous meeting minutes. Cool. Would you mind just pulling it up quickly? Yep. So you'll see there a section of the meeting minutes. There's a big thing on what each of the people presented on last time with Scarlett, as well as want to fill that in?
Yeah. So we had our new provost, Dr. Beth Giles, come in and talk a little bit about some of the things that she's been up to in terms of meeting student needs this semester. We also had Scarlett Scarlett Martino from Student Life come in, and she discussed upcoming events happening at Truex, Goodman South, some of the regional campuses related to some campfire conversations, as well as some early voting events, amongst other things, and just making us aware that they will need some volunteers for those. So if anyone's willing and available to do so, please do. What else do we do?
For our topics of conversation for the last meeting.
Yep, and then after that, I think, I'm trying to remember exactly, I think you guys discussed a little bit about how everyone felt about the open meeting, the business only meeting format. And you all pretty much, you agreed unanimously that you preferred that over the regular meeting format.
For every 2 weeks, yep.
Yeah, and anything else of note?
VP nominations, which will be covering for the next 2 weeks.
Yep, so currently nominations for the Vice President of Public Relations is going on. It started last meeting, it's gonna go until October 10th. And then once we have all our nominees selected, they get 5 minutes to speak, 5 minutes to answer questions, and then we do discrete voting to see who gets voted in for that position. So, yeah.
Good summary. Okay.
We do have Senator Crowder has her hand raised.
Yes. What's up?
So I was just wondering, are we gonna list the people that are nominated so far? Or did I miss that? I'm sorry.
We could do that now, or we could do it later. I was planning on doing it later, but we can do it now if you want. Or can we do it later? Would you be okay with that?
Or I was just thinking it should be added into the minutes.
I did make note of Senator Jackson Winters and Senator Jacobson getting nominated in the minutes.
Okay. I'm sorry, I missed it. My bad.
Well, that's all good.
Yeah, he just didn't highlight it, but
Mhm.
yeah, we were gonna cover it later, but it is in the minutes, physical documents.
Then I make a
But-
motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, motion accepted. Do we hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second that, okay. That seems to be the only point of contention. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none in the room and seeing none online, vote by unanimous approval. If no one opposes, we can go ahead and pass. Hearing no opposition in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Meeting minutes pass. Moving on to the reading and approval of the meeting agenda. For those of you that are in person, you can see the physical copy has 2 additional items in there in the new business. From what I sent it to you, there's a Senate application for Wistria Colley, and there's the appeals for Senate attendance and office hours records, Executive Council. So those are 2 things that I thought that we should add this meeting as a little exercise for us to learn how this works with the bylaws, and for some people to get some excused absences as well. So if that's okay with everyone to accept this modified agenda, which is already online, you'll see on that physical agenda. If that's okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve this agenda.
A motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve the amended agenda from President Brito. That is made, the motion is made by Senator Dirks and second by Senator Wilkin. Okay, moving on. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, we can do a vote by unanimous approval. If there's no opposition in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, motion passes. We can move on. Public comments from Zong He. This may be my fault, but did we get any note from her?
Not yet. I will go back and check my.
Yeah, that might be my fault. So I met
We're
her.
gonna postpone that then.
We can postpone it to a later date when they both are available. I do not have her number, and we did message her. I messaged her phone too. So I think because we didn't get that on her calendar, she probably assumed it wasn't going to happen, and that's my fault. So that's my bad. But we do have lots of things to talk about today, so we can move forward with that and move on to the team building activity. Nohaya, what do you have planned for this in-person event? And Nohaya, are you coming up very soon, or?
Yes, I just got my class like really late, so I am running out of health building right now. I'll be there in like 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
So, I mean, the activity that I was praying for to do was like the speed dating one. That was it from Annette. But since we don't have a lot of Senate here, I just like switch to something else. Um, what are your hobbies? What do you guys like to do when you have like some free time?
Okay. So the question is, what do you like to do when you have free time?
Yes, what is your hobbies like?
Alright.
Should we start or?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Annette want to start.
Sure, Annette can start.
When I have free time, and I'm good and healthy, I like to play indoor soccer with other old people. Um, until that happens again, where I don't have a complex meniscus tear. I guess I like to pretend that I'm not busy and rest.
That's fair.
True.
I'll go next.
Okay.
So usually, oh,
Who's
okay.
that? Me? Yeah.
Do anything? That scared me.
That's happened before.
Okay.
All right, so I would say when I'm not busy doing stuff, one of my favorite things, can I do multiple? Or should I stick with one? Okay, so one is watching the Brewers with my parents, putting on the game and following along with it. And then also usually on the weekends, typically it falls on Sundays, we end up doing pickleball together,
Oh,
just in town. So yeah,
okay. Who wants to go next? Should we just like go in order around the table or? Yeah, okay, Elon?
When I'm not busy, I will relax myself either by listening to music or sleeping.
That's fair. For me, obviously I'm trying to run, so I don't know if anyone remembered when I had those crutches and I had that ankle tear, so it's recovered now. I am running again, so just ran 5 miles. So we're getting back up there. We're still not at 26, which is what I have to get up to. But I think I'm supposed to go for a 13-mile run next Saturday. So it'll be slow, but it'll get done. But yeah, I used to be really fit and active, and then I started doing Senate, and now I'm not. So let me be a cautionary tale to everyone. But yeah, I do like doing fun things like that, and I don't know, rock climbing. That's how I met my partner. So fun stuff.
I love watching sports, like to play video games, super invested in politics and social media. None of that is really relaxing.
You're an Xer.
It all gives me a lot of anxiety.
Move on to Neve.
I like spending money. Right now I'm like binge watching Supernatural and it's super good right now. And I'm really into like television and like movies and stuff.
Mhm.
And I like photography and sleeping.
I'll always make time for a concert. Love concerts, live music,
Mhm.
listening to music, all music.
In country.
Looks good.
In country.
I believe there's a little country for everyone. That's how I feel.
Taylor started in country, so.
Exactly. Like, it's not for me, but even I like a couple. There's a little for everyone.
Yeah, let's go. We'll go to Cole and then we'll go to online.
Sure. Similar to Cameron, it's not really relaxing, but I'm involved in a couple conservation organizations where I live. So all about that, including hunting and fishing and stuff like that. Stuff is relaxing to me. We have some stuff in the chat if you want me to read those.
Yeah, sure. Let's read what's in the chat first.
From Senator Avila, going for a jog, computer stuff, just resting. From VP Hashmi, I like to hang out with animals when I'm not busy.
He's with animals right now. He's probably
Yes.
petting a few cows.
And then in response to Nevea, I next to watch Supernatural on a repeat all the time. Awesome. Go ahead, VP Hashmi.
Yeah, he said I'm with that. I'm on the way back. So I'll be there very short.
Nice.
You want me to go through my screen just to call them?
Yeah, sure. We'll have Nohaya do last since I think Nohaya likes to wrap things up. But if you want to call people
Yeah.
online.
Senator Stacey Brunner.
Oh, when I'm relaxing, I just like to write poetry, read, watch TikTok, and be with Sierra and our puppy.
What's your puppy's name?
Her name is Missy, or we call her
Missy?
Mushi. Yeah, but we call her Mushi.
Gotcha. No, that's cute.
Senator Ibrahimov.
I just go and play soccer.
Play soccer. Awesome.
Were you ever on the team?
Huh?
Were you ever on the team here?
Nah, I don't have time.
Oh, it is a lot, but they're pretty cool. So I knew Gabe from last year, Lorenzo, Paolo, but yeah, half of them are no longer on the team because of it's the time commitment. So
Yeah, it requires a lot of time, so it's just too much.
so you get good. Who's next?
Senator Sierra Brother. There's movement in the chat. Sierra states in the chat, when I'm relaxing, I cuddle with my dog and watch YouTube and Hulu. Senator Bissonnette.
I love to catch up on my shows that I usually watch, like Gossip Girl or what have you. Basically, I love being a couch potato when I have time because I feel like I'm always using my brain and I like to tune out.
XOXO, Gossip Girl.
Senator Joof.
Maggie?
When I'm not busy, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
When I'm not busy, when I'm relaxing, I love to go for shopping and I love to dance. So I watch a lot of YouTube, African music, my local music, which is Naga, Mbala, and Ibrahima knows what I'm saying. I watch those and as a form of exercise or go to the gym. So yeah.
Don't you like Snapchat? I know you're always taking pictures on Snapchat.
It's part of the music. I do a lot of
Yeah.
videos when I'm dancing and I share with my friends. So they love it. They love to see me dance. And I dance all the way. I squat, I go down, and it's fun to watch me dance. I love dancing since I was little. So yeah, it's one of my favorite hobby. I dance to any music, even if I don't hear the language. Let me just hear the music play. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing. And then Nohaya, round us out. That's right. That's everyone, right?
Yep.
Okay. Nohaya, what's your favorite?
I like watch anime, of course. I
Mhm.
like sometimes some drama show, like Love is Blind, or I can watch some K drama sometimes. I love K drama, but it's addictive. So I try to not watch it during like school period, but during like free time or I'm different to watch K drama. And I will say I like to sleep. Like definitely when I don't do anything, just be home, like cozy on the bed, sleep, have some snack here on. Yeah, that is my favorite thing to do.
Favorite anime?
Yes, I'm a big fan of anime.
Favorite anime? I think it's My Life Reincarnated as a Slime, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Nohaya, that's your favorite? Yeah,
Which
I had a
one?
feeling. Slime. Limu?
No,
Or
it's not my
Rimuru?
favorite. It's one of
Not?
my favorites.
I was so close. I
Do you know
failed the
Kuroko?
Nohaya.
Do you know Kuroko Basket?
Fruit Basket?
Yeah, Kuroko Basket, not Fruit Basket.
Basketball.
Croco Basket? No, I don't know that one.
I don't know why, but I love this anime and want to.
You should try Haiku. It's about volleyball.
I already watched IT.
No.
It's not that bad.
Okay, that's fine. Never can be a hater. Okay, well, we all learned about how trash taste I have in anime. That's okay. But since everyone did that, we can move on to disclosures and recusals. There are no bills or resolutions today, but generally this is a chance for you, when we do vote on a bill or resolution, to disclose any affiliations, partnerships, associations, anything that you might think need to come up forward if we do pass a bill or resolution. Since there are no bills or resolutions, we can move forward. to reports from officers, advisors, and standing committees. That'll be the president's report here. Let me pull up a student.madisoncollege.edu, and we're just going to talk about this president forum. So, for those of you that didn't know, I was part of the presidential search committee. And the student forums for the next Madison College president, the semifinalists, or the finalists, I should say, have been released. So there's Dr. Carlos Cortez, Dr. Musadir Siddiqui, and Dr. Tia Robinson Cooper. I believe I'm allowed to say this now because information has been published out there. The one I'm running for, I really like Dr. Tia Robinson Cooper, but you can learn more about her by coming to these forums here. So Dr. Carlos Cortez is coming on October 14th. Dr. Musadir Siddiqui is coming on October 16th. That's a Wednesday, I believe. Yep, that's correct. Wednesday, October 16th. And then Dr. Tia Robinson Cooper is coming on Monday, October 21st. If you can't make the student forum, you are allowed to come to the community forum. It's just labeled for community, but anyone can go to that. So that's just something to mention. If you do have questions, you can email search.madisoncollege.edu, or you can message me and I can get you connected with the person who's in charge of this. Again, for any further information that's not released to the public, I think at some point they might be, the candidate bios are available on this website. So you can look at their bios and their LinkedIn profiles. I don't believe that their other materials are made known, but my favorite is Dr. Robinson Cooper, but I do encourage you all to take some time to research each of them. I do believe that, no matter the choice, the council concluded, or the search committee concluded that we'd be happy with any one of the three of these people. So you can't go wrong. Our input will go into consideration by the board, but the board does select the candidate. So that's something to take into account. So our commentary will be considered by the board overall. And, if I know anything about the board, and I've been going to the board for 2 years now, not a full 2 years, but almost, Donald Densler Jr. is a fair and just chair, and I think he'll take into consideration what we have to say. The other thing to note from our section here, we'll come into reports. We'll take a look at student hiring committees. We did have updated language from student hiring committees. The important thing here is to note, these are everything you need to do as committee member on a hiring committee. Students can be selected. The updated language is now a hiring manager may have students participate in the hiring process as committee members of regular, full-time, or part-time positions if the recruitment is associated with student fee-funded positions. And there's a bunch of other requirements. That's the important thing. But as it currently stands right now, the language only allows for student fee funded positions. That's anything funded by Student Life. Cole's position is Student Life. So is Ellie Rome and a couple of other advisors that support funded things. Something might be going on there. The thing to note is that I did ask if certain positions like the college president, the dean of students, or the provost, I think there's room to say that this is a student-facing position, and I requested that student-facing be added in there as well, so we could take part in those 3 specific positions. We'll see what they say, though, but this is a big win from previously before not being able to sit on hiring committees, and I really pushed the envelope on that, and y'all supported me, and so did SAB, and this is a small change, albeit pretty big one if we can actually get people to sit on those hiring committees. So I'd say it's a really good job to all of Senate on that one. That concludes my report. Is there any questions or the remaining time? Is that time?
We're at time. The one thing I did want to state, just for clarification to you all, is that if you do attend any of the search forums, that can count towards your office hours. If we do want to have representation at those and make your voices heard. So if you can attend as a student or the community, does not matter. Please let myself, President Brito, know that can count towards your office hours for the week.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We can move on to Administration Finance Committee. Oh, sorry.
Let me go. Yes. Senator Crowder, you have a question quick?
Not a question, just a quick statement. I just think it's really important that we try and attend the forums if we can, because I think it helps them to see that we really do want to be part of the conversation.
Thank you. Senator Dirks.
I was just going to ask, is it going to be in a similar format as the forums that we were here for regarding the provost search as well? So it's
yes, we will have to submit some. I'll be reaching out to them.
Questions.
Yeah, so I will get some time to ask certain questions in there. But so I just really stressed to them that we need to have some time for audience questions. So hopefully they'll listen to that. So whoever's moderating will be the person to reach out to. But yes, I'll be speaking with the people about that question from Nevaeh. Maybe we'll have to move on after that.
So how do you, is it in a room or something or on?
Yeah, so let me, it's in room D1630. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. And we'll go over the times, but we'll be talking about this forever. Where did it go? I think it's here. So yeah, it is in room D1630. I do believe that they're hold in person only is what this says, but I can talk to them about getting a live stream search process. So that's what it currently says, but it doesn't mean it can't be changed. There's still time to change it for a non-recorded live stream. I think the reason why is that the live stream, it can only be a live stream. It can't be recorded because it's part of the hiring process is my understanding of it. I don't believe there's anything against having that, but we'll see what they say. There might be they might have to consult with the college the person on retainer, the college attorney or whatever it's called. I don't think it's called that, but the retainer for the college for all legal matters. They might have to consult with them. So I'm not sure how it works with hiring process. But I feel like as long as it's not recorded, it might be able to, but again, not a legal expert. So as it stands now, it's in person. I will message them about that. So thank you, Net. Okay, time to move on. Administration and Finance Committee, VP Tao.
This Monday from meeting, we approved a payment request from the business club. And we also checked that the previous trip to Chicago one, they added their number wrong. So like they miscalculate like $7 more. So they will need to resubmit the payment request. And we will probably going to approve that by next Monday. And we are still working on the text issue, but we got some progress. So they did when they did go through catering, but somehow it was not successful, and they probably ordered off-campus delivery. That's why it comes with tax. Yeah, that's the end of the report. Any questions? Yeah.
Okay, no questions?
No questions.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so this is something called A. So it's time for some parliamentary procedure here. What happened today is that Zong He came back to us and she said that she would be free at 6 if we still have time for her. I think that we could go out of order, but because we accepted our agenda, everything on the agenda is on it. So what we could do is make an amendment to our current lineup with extra time and allow for her to be on there. So I think that's how that works, because there's still time within. I think what this can be is an additional new business item, and you'd make a motion to allow for an extra new business item. Or sorry, because it's on the official agenda, we would just need to motion to defer to new business. So can we have that motion?
You have questions?
Sorry, question here.
Senator.
Yes.
Would it be better to just postpone this for another meeting if we are trying to get out of here for the Ryan Lander trip?
Is she okay with that?
She did state to me that she is open to reschedule another time as long as we just reach out to her ahead.
Okay, let's do it at a better time. Sorry, that's a good idea.
I just think it makes more sense.
No, it makes more sense. I'm sorry. I always try to get ahead of myself, trying to do too much. So thanks for keeping me in check. Yeah, you're right. Let's postpone. We don't need a motion or anything like that. So I'm sorry. I really wanted it to happen, but these last minute things, let's just let it be. So thank you, Cameron, Senator Wilkin, for that. Okay, we can move on to legislative affairs. VP Hashmi, are you free right now?
Yeah, I'm free. We'll be there in a few minutes. We had a meeting this week. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, we had a meeting this week for the committee. We had final touch-ups for Cameron's very soon departure for WSG. We also talked about our bylaws and Article 4, Section 4, I believe, of our bylaws. There's a attendance policy for for overall for the Senate, and there's some exceptions for the Senates that they could get that exceptions for not attending the GAs meeting. So we were reviewing those sections, and we're looking to add or we're in a conversation of adding uh, a different expectation category of exception. Sorry, we did end up with disagreement. I will have more information about that next week. After the meeting, me and Kai had a meeting with Dr. Casper. I'm not sure if I could say any more about that in details, but the meeting was about the Achievement Center having budget cuts from last year, and they're doing not good this year, especially with tutoring and hiring more tutors, and it's affecting a lot of students who depend on support for community colleges. That's the end of my report. If there's any questions.
Okay, so I'll mention this, and since there's still some time, basically, that is on the agenda, Hassan, and I actually I'm gonna show
Thank you. My bad.
I'm gonna show the Excel spreadsheet. So don't worry, we'll be talking about that in detail. But thanks for checking. No, thank you. You showed up and you asked some great questions. Okay, we can move on to team development committee. Team development committee. Yes, so that's you, VP Salifu.
Yeah, so last week, I want to say last week, this Monday we didn't talk that much actually. Kai sent us the review, the PowerPoint for the classroom presentation. So, sorry, he just shared it with us. I just asked, like, we just had to review it and see if we approve or not. And also, as to Ebrima, if you can work in the logo for the t-shirt. And also we talk Tuesday, and we have like some idea for just the color of the t-shirt. That call we share with you guys, and you like give your idea about it. And also we just decided to take this week to think about like some idea for Kim for the Halloween, for the Halloween day that PTK want to make. So we talked more about different like kind of this idea next Monday, but that was all.
And I know that you have some ideas about a future team development event.
Oh yes, I did that. Yes. Okay. So normally at the end of this semester, if we have some students who graduate, we're supposed to do some recognition. How do I say, right?
Award or recognition.
Okay, award or recognition, like ceremony to give them some gift and all these things. But I think like right now we don't have extended who graduate this semester. So we decided to use that money to travel, like to 1 or 2 days travel outside of Madison, all of the Senate like team together and go and do like some team development activities. So it's like, it's just an idea. We need to work on that and also see the budget, but it is something that we plan to do.
I do have some updated numbers for you. There's at least $1,800, maybe more, depending on how we stretch things. If you want to do the t-shirts, there might be less.
Okay.
But I believe there's $1,800, so 1,800. So that's what you have to work with for everyone, though. Remember, everyone's available. And remember, this guy is off on the weekend, so maybe something that Cameron can go to.
Yeah, there's really something.
Wait, what?
I also graduate this semester.
You do? I thought you said you weren't graduating until.
No, I do graduate. I'll just still be at school.
Oh, okay. So we haven't graduated.
I did not realize that. Okay, that's sorry, that confused me, I guess. Okay, because you're still, okay.
I don't need a gift.
You need a gift, don't say.
No, we're not getting a gift. There's no gift for you, no gift.
Thank you. So we graduate this semester, yeah. But we do something new. We can like probably when everybody done with classes, so like mid-December. So we know like everybody can like be free to come in.
We'll think about it. But you could go to the Kalahari. Think about it.
Why
I
is
think
it?
Annette has the discount tickets, so
Wait, what is it?
it's in the Dells water park.
Chula
It's an
Vista.
indoor water
Chula
park.
Vista.
Oh, Chula Vista, sorry. Chula Vista.
But it's indoor too.
Indoor. It's indoor water park, so
I don't know how to swim, but yeah.
Don't worry, I'll save you. We'll bring Mark, he's a lifeguard.
Okay,
Okay.
that's all.
We can move on to Public Relations Committee. That'll be Cole taking over. It's not, it does say vacant, but I think Cole can do the report.
So, yeah, Public Relations Committee has been meeting weekly. We've been discussing kind of what our next steps is, what we want to work on right now. Currently, all of us within the committee are creating some type of marketing material, whether it's going to be for their town hall event, quarter sheets, Instagram posts, whatever it may be. So if you have ideas, feel free to send them my way and we'll share it with the committee. I do want to showcase one thing that myself and Senator Jackson Winters have been collaborating on, and I'll just show it here briefly, is that we have created our town hall flyer that we can print and have out to the, pass out to the campus. So we still do have the orange one that we used for the Clarion. This is a work in progress, so some of the stuff has not been finalized yet. We are working to finalize that hopefully for next week and have it printed out. And again, we'll have this at every major poster board that we can get within the Truax campus. And then we will work as a committee to create some quarter sheets to hand out throughout the week as well. But yeah, we wanted to have something present so that it would be engaging and catching folks' eyes. The QR code does go to the Wolfpack Connect page. As once I finalize the schedule, I will create events for every single day that we are tabling with the times that folks will be there, along with your names, so that we can have that representation. And then we will email out the student body about this through our constant contact email communications. So this is one of many. And so we plan to share more as we start creating it, or be on the lookout for the Senate Instagram. As I know, working with Senator Jackson Winters and Senator Jacobson, they have some really great ideas coming up that I'm excited for. So any questions on the PR committee side?
Okay, sorry, this is picky, but can we actually put less photos on there? I think 4 photos, it's like, it's too much.
Okay.
I think it's hard to focus. What do other people think?
Yeah,
I
think it's fine.
I mean,
Oops.
Okay.
Just a little bit longer. What is it? Other people think?
I think 2 would be fine, actually.
Yeah, I was also thinking too, like,
Pictures.
and then like we call out and then have like some words next to the photos of like what we're doing. So like maybe one from the, yeah, like a caption of some sort. Yeah. It's like a caption on the right side, caption on the left. Because I feel like it just kind of looks very unfocused having 4 pictures in this square like that.
That is too much, yeah.
Which is my fault because I did tell you, I gave you so many photos. So I'm aware that I'm the one that.
We'll close out Senator Crowder.
And then maybe Nevaeh should
Yeah,
have a chance
fine.
to defend their
Senator Crowder?
I was just gonna mention, I think there should be something like, how are we engaging the regional campuses? Are we going to have any of our town hall hybrid so that if they wanted to at least watch that we're doing that?
Yes, so that's gonna come later in my report, but essentially, we're gonna offer 2 separate times to have 1 hour virtual only town hall, representation, working specifically, with some of our regional senators to have that. And so from there, we'll make sure those are marketed out as well, and we'll have that so that anybody who cannot attend in person at Truax at any other campuses can attend those virtual. And I'm working with those senators specifically to have that representation.
And then Nevaeh, if you want to quickly.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Defend
always open to feedback. The other thing is, for the poster about you, me and Kai, we worked on a link and that should be getting sent out, so be on the lookout for that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, we can move on. Advisory report.
All right, good to hear me again. So we are almost done with the town hall schedule. I'm waiting on 3 more folks. Once I have that set situated, well,
3 more?
I need the date. I got your time.
Tuesday, sorry.
No, you're good.
That's what I heard.
So, it's almost done. And luckily, I'm not gonna lie, we actually have representation every single day, multiple times each day. So it's gonna be solid. I'm really excited for that. And I'll be working with, Senator Kamara and VP Salifu on some of the creativity ideas and using the media to try and connect with folks. I have a meeting that was scheduled by, Dr. Casper with myself, Director Rome, Dr. Casper, and Kim Brudney on Monday to talk about what does student involvement look like and appointments look like for shared governance councils as they have opened up. So as we know, on the 5 governance councils that are coming back that aren't college assembly, we are able to have one representative per council. And so we're just reviewing how do we want to go about with that, but also what does the student involvement look like, as there has been calls for students to be able to participate in shared governance and go through some type of either an appointment process or application process. So I will have more information about that next week at our next GA meeting, in which we should be able to understand what is our next step.
And I do want to point out too that they mentioned that handshake. I don't think that we would have to fill out the handshake unless it comes later on in the semester, and that was something that like,
sure.
Well, do we fill out later on? Like at the beginning of the semester, it won't matter, but later on it might. So
I'll have those updates for you.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting good to go. We have a few more folks that are coming for public comment. I'm advising you all now because it might be a little bit of a longer meeting, but we have some folks who are part of cabinet who are also reaching out to us that want to participate within Senate and get the news out to us that could provide to students at the greater reach. So be advised that those are coming down the line, and we will work to provide you all with a little bio of who is going to speak at said meeting so that we can meet that request that you all had. Lastly, in the next 2 weeks, I'll be working with President Brito and the Executive Council to create a universal committee agenda so that we can just have a tracking of information as we're going to be working towards the end of this academic year, having transition reports for the next upcoming Executive Council and senators so the transition is easier. I see one hand from Senator Crowder.
So when you're talking with them, Cole, can you find out if they are going to have students at large as well as members of Student Senate? Because in some of the committees,
Yes.
they had both. Okay. And then,
That's correct.
and then the other question or something I wanted to comment on is that, DCRC, I can't remember our exact name, but the diversity committee, like you said, is disbanding in council format, but it is still going to remain, and they're looking at it as a task force. And the discussion this week, they were just talking about how it's going to be more of an oversight potentially, but just so someone has that on the radar, you and Kai, that it is remaining just in a different form and not as a council.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Seeing none of you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, moving on to unfinished business. We're just, every time we do a business only meeting, we'll just read through those rules for respectful engagement again, so if you can pull that up, Cole.
Yep.
And I think there was like a modification, just to like, we tried these rules for respectful engagement during the student leader retreat. And I think I mentioned this last time, but basically during the student leader retreat, someone mentioned about rule number 12, I believe it was, like use I statements. And so they interpret it like, oh, taking it personally, but we're not trying to, take things personally. We meant like use like, I feel, I think, I believe, like, it comes from your own perspective. And that's kind of the distinction that they were trying to make. Show me pull up.
Yeah, if you could, please. I'm trying to find it. I don't have that.
You found it?
I found it. Yes, so for once I get to it, just correct me, please.
Oh, can you pull up on the screen?
Oh, sorry. Yes. So I'm pulling from our minutes, or from our stuff on 9/5. Yep. So these were the 12. I think I hashed these out more, but again, I will get to what exactly that we are going with it. So continue to actively listen throughout the conversation to make sure that you're fully in comprehension and understanding and not seeking to respond. Practice mindfulness as it relates to your response. Discuss in a diplomatic way. You're not utilizing your emotion. You're trying to understand from a logical approach. Be informed and prepared for discussions. Make sure that when you're walking into it, you're not walking to try and disincentivize somebody. You're there to try and actively engage. Be polite, patient, and empathetic. Be inclusive. Make space for others during the conversation, as all of us come from a different walk of life and a different background that allows us to have a unique perspective. Continue to collaborate and work as a team. Avoid interruptions, saving questions until the end, especially as you're trying to have that conversation. Continue to find common ground, even if there's something that you disagree on. Sometimes we can find the commonalities that allow us to become more connected. Disagree, don't take stuff personally. So again, knowing that you might be leaving on a disagreement, but understanding that the common identity that you're trying to identify with the conversation is met. I believe it was number 11, which was be respectful of differences of opinions. That's utilizing the I statements, making sure that you're going in with understanding of not trying to take on the emotions or the insight of the individual, but more trying to seek to understand and speak from your own perspective. And then lastly, use your outside resources when necessary and ensure that you're trying to be fully engaged and not trying to, when I always tell folks is pass it along, working to address that concern or issue in the moment. So these aren't the direct ones. I'll make sure I have this next time as well, so I can read from the fully list that we have. Yes.
Okay. No worries. That works. Okay, thank you for sharing. That's just something I'd like to go over every time so that we know that we're, we're trying to have good conversation here. We can disagree, but let's let other people have their turns and that kind of stuff. Okay, moving on. This is the part that Lando is really interested in. Call for VP nominations. As mentioned before, we do have the VP nominations of Senator Jackson Winters as well as Senator Jacobson. And this is call for the Vice President of Public Relations. And if there's anyone right now, again, that'll be open all the way until, so it closes next week. The Thursday, October 10th, during our General Assembly meeting will be the last time that someone can make a nomination for Vice President. And tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be sending out a guide on what the role does, and then inviting each of the nominees to go attend the Executive Council meeting so they can see what we do. And that happens from a Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. But at this moment, do we have any nominations for Vice President of Public Relations?
You can't nominate yourself.
You can't nominate yourself, but oh, do we have a nomination here?
Is there anyone? Sorry. Is there anyone in the room or online who has interest in a nomination?
And I'd like to give it a shot, maybe.
Well, I do see hands up, so let's go from online, and then I think they'll cover it for you unless you want to go. Should I let them?
We discussed this like yesterday, right?
Yeah, we did. How about, okay, Yilong, do you want to say?
It's like I'm going to me nominating Lando for this.
If that's what you want to do.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, we have a nomination from Yilong for Senator Lando Dirks.
All right.
Do you accept the nomination? Okay, that puts you officially in. Annette, did you have also an additional nomination?
I was just I didn't know if he needed a second, so I'll withdraw.
Okay, and Hassan, what were you thinking?
So the answer. I don't know if you guys already nominate, but I will nominate Senator Lando Dirks.
Okay, perfect. So okay, we have 3 people just all playing Wisconsin nice, letting someone else do it. So okay, thank you very much. You accept 1, 2, and 3 nominations. Okay. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much. We got you in, Lando. So that's good. Any questions, anyone? Is there anyone else that's interested? Potentially, someone? Yes?
Annette, would you be interested potentially? I'm trying to remember. Weren't you
No,
a
thank you.
president last year?
I was, and I appreciate you asking, but I have to decline. I just don't feel like I have the time or all the skills that are necessarily to do that position justice.
Okay.
You definitely have the skills, Annette. At the time, that's what I would be concerned about too. Just like how sometimes you have to turn down things, just like how I did today. So that's how it goes sometimes. Okay, anyone else interested? Perhaps the Goodman South Senator? Sylvia? Are you no? Okay.
That's
Okay.
a big no.
Do you want my job instead? Just kidding.
She's just like, yeah.
Just like, oh, hell no. No, that's okay. That's okay. I was just messing. Okay, well, we can move on at this point then. It sounds like everyone that had a chance. There'll be another chance next week if you change your mind and think, oh, I want to run for this. So we'll be able to try that. We'll do voting the week after. Yes?
So, yeah, we get 5 minutes to kind of describe why we're interested in the role and then
Yes.
5
For questions.
general questions.
And that one will be strict on time. So I know that we've been a little flexible in time, but that one will be very strict. So
And then it's going to be secret ballot voting,
Mhm.
and those who were nominated cannot vote.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They don't vote for
Others would be a
themselves.
little
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
Or they don't vote for themselves.
yeah, is that, is it true that you can't vote? Cause I'm pretty sure you could vote for, I think in the past you were allowed to do that. Like everyone got a vote. It just, that you would just vote for yourself.
That's what I've never been in a situation in which the individuals who are being voted on have been allowed to vote.
The presidential election? The
No, I'm
each
talking about,
presidential
I'm talking about
candidate
any of
votes
the shared governance stuff I've been a part of collegiately.
Really?
Yes, so that's something with you, that's totally fine. I can just, they just.
Oh, I just thought that.
I was
Well,
able to
let's look
vote for myself last year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. So it's just, it's like, whether you do or you don't, it shouldn't make a difference, because if everyone voted for themselves, then it's practically the same, right?
No problem. Okay.
Yeah, well, let's look into it, because I
That
don't
sounds
think
good.
there's anything against that.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll look at it.
yeah, okay, so if that's, let's check on that.
Yep.
But if that's the case, then I think we can move on.
Yep.
Okay, so, new business Senate application for Wistria Colley. And just to point out, the reason why Jose was not able to come today is because he's, with the birth of his child, his wife induced into labor last night, and it's been a long night for him. But I do believe his baby is born. I don't know the gender of his baby yet. It's a boy?
It's a girl.
Oh, it's a girl? How'd you know that?
Told me.
Oh, he probably told me and I forgot.
He told
so
us.
I feel like a bad friend. He told you? Oh, man, I forgot.
He told us it
must
was a
told-
girl. You were there,
Okay, well,
Kyle.
I'm sorry. I was there.
If anyone should know, it should be you.
I forgot.
It's fine.
He texted me and said, "Oh, our baby is coming." So I thought that meant that maybe I just didn't know. Okay, well, my fault. My fault. It's hard to keep track of everything these
Yeah.
days, so my bad. But yes, his baby girl is born right now, so that's cute. Good for him. He'll be back next week. He thinks so. He'll keep in touch with us about that. But we do not have Wistria here tonight. No, did you reach out to Wistria this week?
Wistria reached out to me and said they would attend this week, and they did receive the invite to attend, which is what I've done in the past.
Yeah.
So at this point, they're not present. I think we need to move past, and I think you and I can have a.
Sure. Yep. No, I mean, I know that, but I just wanted, that's why I took the time to talk about Jose. So, yeah, but Jose is interested. He's just, at the birth of his child. So I think he gets a pass for that one. What?
That's a fair thing to do.
It is a family/health emergency, so I would
Yeah.
say. Okay, moving on to the appeals for Senate attendance and office hours records. Moment for our bylaws question. So as it currently stands, there are certain things in our bylaws that we're allowed to excuse for. We're allowed to excuse for family emergency. We're allowed to excuse for personal emergency. We're allowed to excuse for health-related reasons. We're allowed to excuse for unforeseen circumstances such as weather, like other disaster type things. And I think there's some other category. I don't think it's specifically outlined, but it's like unforeseen circumstances is kind of what it was defined as.
Pretty vague in terms of what it means.
Right, yeah. So anything that you didn't already plan for, things that you would be planned for are currently classes. We don't allow for that. But there are certain things that we are questionable, and it's as, what's it called? It's kind of like as needed. So what would happen is that if you went to something academic, you would incur a point. For instance, Senator Dirks, you have to leave for class and you incur points. You're incurring a lot of points. You're not even at that point yet where you need to be messaged, but because of his class, he gets points because something that's we do ask that you keep 4:30 to 6:30 open, but his class schedule wouldn't allow him to do that. So he's been accumulating points per our bylaws. Now, what you can do is you can ask for up to 3 instances of appeal. So today, people like me who have accumulated a point, people like Lando who's accumulated points, people like Cameron who's about to incur a point from the academic thing. We were on the schedule today to ask for the rest of the Senate to vote on. I think this will just be a simple majority vote and to allow people to get an appeal to some of those points. So I think Lando, you can go first for this one since you've been accumulating points since the beginning of the semester.
So, yep, as Kai stated, I have a calculus class from 5:30 to 7:50 on Thursdays. And that happens to be starting in a couple minutes here, so I'll make it brief, but essentially, when I was throwing together my schedule, it was before I got nominated to Senate, and I wasn't sure if I'd get in, so I kind of just put everything in, that would work with my current schedule with classes and work, making sure there weren't any conflicts with times. And so that 5:30 to 7:50 class, Tuesday, Thursday, that happened to work the best for my schedule at that time. But then after Senate, I forgot to change that. And it wasn't until I met with Cole for the first time during one of our meetings that he informed me, hey, we have Senate during that time. And I'm like, oh, shoot. So then I kind of had to scramble, see if I could switch the class. And unfortunately, there weren't any more available seats in the one other calculus class that I could have taken. So fortunately, I wasn't able to change that. So now, yeah, I'm just incurring points at this point. And I do really like being on Senate, like getting involved with everything, being at events, getting to know you all, meet the student body, just engage. It's something I didn't really do a lot like last semester. And it made it really tough for me to really like get into the college experience because I felt like I was just, coming to class, doing my work, going home, wasn't really getting as much out of it as I was hoping to. So now that I'm here, I'm very thankful to be here right now and to be with all of you in the Senate meeting. And, I just ask that you consider my circumstances and make a decision that makes sense for all of you as well.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and share the points that he specifically would be requesting off for.
Yeah.
So that would be for 9:09 to 9:15.
Yeah.
He's marked as
Late leaving.
late leaving for that one, so he'd be requesting for this one. He would be requesting for 9:16 to 9:22 because he's marked as late leaving for this one as well, the General Assembly, and 9:23 to 9:29 marked as late leaving here. So we could batch them all together. You could vote individually on them, but someone would just have to make a motion to approve his appeal for those three specific instances. If we're okay with that. Motion to approve, okay. Do we have a second on the motion to approve? Second, a motion made by VP Salifu, second by Senator Jackson Winters. Okay, is there any discussion on this specific item?
I just want to say the time that I've been here, you've been very outspoken the times you're here. So I really appreciate that. And just, yeah, it's understandable.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Oh, I was just gonna add that I share a lot of your sentiment with getting to be a part of Senate as the college experience. I felt a lot of the same way you did, just going to work, going to class, going home, but being a part of Senate is also giving me a similar opportunity that you were expressing. So I just appreciate you as a part of Senate.
Thank you so much.
Okay, if without further ado, I don't see any hands raised. So I do see a hand raised actually. Annette, sorry.
I was just gonna mention, and I know Lando already
Sure.
touched on it, but there's very limited classes for the higher up ones when it comes to math. So it's not like you have a lot of options, and they're usually filled or close to filled before the semester even starts.
It's tough.
So yeah, with all that in consideration with his points, we are allowed to vote. It doesn't have to be secret. It can be if we want it to be. I think for contentious ones, we've made it secret, but overall, I think it should be a hand raised one because it's something that everyone votes on. So yeah.
What do you want? It's up to you.
Oh yeah. So I don't think there's a need for a secret ballot. So for this instance, I think we can just vote overall. So all those in favor say aye or raise your hand. It's gonna be a vote by voice majority. Okay, everyone in the room is saying, are you recusing yourself? You should recuse yourself, but you can do what you want. It's up to you. Okay, so I see a lot of hands online. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands. Am I seeing? 8 from Stacy. Okay. Okay, I think that's enough, but let's move on and see any no's.
If you're online, please raise your hand if you are voting against.
I'm not seeing any online. Are there any abstentions? Is that abstention from Lando? Because can I mark you as an abstention for yourself?
Can I vote for myself
You
in this
can.
situation?
You can if you want. I wouldn't personally, but you
Yeah,
can do
it
what you
seems a
want.
little biased. I'll abstain.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And I think 2 people are typing online. Let's just see what they say. Feel free to vote however you want. Maggie and Abraham, are you trying to say something? Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you, Abraham. So that makes 10 voting for it. So motion, okay, 11 now. So motion carries. You get your points back. You can head to class now. Just remember that this specific one of you leaving is not forgiven.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you are now getting another point of leaving. So he'll be back to do another one.
I'll be back.
Yep. Okay, Senator Wilkin, you have a thing to do.
So I have next Thursday, I won't be at General Assembly. So I want to transfer to UW-Madison. The program that I want to transfer into requires a business workshop to be attended prior to admission. On their next business workshop is next Thursday from 4 o'clock to 5 p.m. So I won't necessarily be able to be here on time. I could make it here after the workshop because it is at Madison College.
Oh, it is.
Mhm.
Oh, that's nice.
But so I would miss the start, so I would be marked late and miss some points. I mean, I'm just asking if people will forgive me for that. I feel like an academic reason is as good as any. On
Yeah.
top of business skills can help in Senate-related tasks as well.
And that date is on Thursday, October 10th, right? 10/10? Okay, that's also a previous Senator Matt Carson's birthday, so just pointing it out.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Okay, get to class.
By the way, I vote yes.
You can't vote if you're not in the room, but
open.
your bag's open too. Maybe at this point, oh, Annette?
Yes.
I was gonna make a motion to remove that future points for the points
The point
for
that
the
he would
meeting
incur.
that,
Yep, so we're just,
yes, thank you.
okay, yep, points he would incur for the 10th. Yep. So pre-appeal second. Okay, a motion made by Senator Crowder, second by VP Salifu. Okay, at this point, is there any further discussion? I don't see any hands online. I don't see anyone in person, so we can move on. Vote by voice majority for this one. All those in favor of the motion to, pre-approve the appeal on the academic reason for the points for being late. Yeah, raise your hand or say aye. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We see people online. 7. This is a new aye from, no, it's not. 8 from Maggie, 9 from Angel. I think Abrima is typing something.
Sierra.
Oh yeah, 10 from Sierra. Abrima, are you gonna make it an even a good 11?
Did you count Stacy?
Yeah, I think I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stacy 9, and then Angel said 10, and then Abrima would be 11. If we're waiting on that.
If you need another vote,
We don't need another vote, actually. But, okay, well, it's 10. I think I'm counting. Put your hands down. Anyone voting nay against it? I don't see anyone voting against it. I think the only 2 people that didn't vote was Hassan and I didn't see Abrima say anything. I think if you typed it, it wasn't there, but that's okay. Is there any abstention? I don't hear any abstention. Well, with that, 11, motion carries. So there's that one. Is there anyone else that wants to make an appeal on any specific points?
Maggie has raised their hand.
Yes, Maggie. Maggie, are you raising your hand to talk or?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Our hours?
This was just for voting for the points.
Oh, okay, no.
Okay. This is a fun one. I will make a, where are we at on time?
We have about an hour-ish left. Looking at the remainder of what we want to discuss.
Well, that can be it for now. Let's do another one another time.
Okay.
So, yep. Okay, we can move on. We spent a lot of time on this, so. Okay, moving on. Dining service budget overview. Let's go ahead and share my screen. So one thing that I've talked with some individual senators about, oh, this is the office hours log, was how dining services. It's been a recurring theme that has been happening at Madison College because people have a lot to say about the food they have to eat. Food, we need food to live, and the most convenient place to get food is through school. And I think everyone, when you go to school, you want to make sure that you have access to a healthy, nutritious, and affordable food if you're going to be going to a place. So I think that's a challenge that we've been facing here. Let's go ahead and open our reports here and let's take a look at this history that I was able to obtain from dining services. So if you look here, this is a history of dining services from 2015 to 2023 actuals. I do not have 2023, 2024 actuals. I just have the budgeted, so I'll have to talk to Cody White for that. But this is a pretty good start to start learning about financial history here. So as you'll see here, the ending balance is kind of like where financial services was at. But you also see like the net. So I think those are the two most important things to look at. What is the net that people pulled in? So net is just revenues minus expenses. If you've taken an accounting class, you'll know that's just like the net income or net profit or net loss. And in this case, you'll see a lot of loss across the table. And we're going to go through that in a moment there. The ending balance, that is just the beginning balance minus the net to figure out what the ending balance is inside of the money for the specifically set aside for the dining services. It's something called an auxiliary service, and that means that it's supposed to, in theory, make money for itself. Historically, school lunchrooms don't make that much money, but you'll see here about the financial history and health of what the cafeteria has been pulling in, or dining services. So if we look back at 2015, 2016, some things to note is that this was all pre-COVID materials. 2020 is obviously when COVID hit, and you'll see that it's pretty natural in some cases. We've been steadily decreasing the net that we've had, so we've been we've been having more expenses, and things have gotten more and more expensive, but we also were bringing in a lot of revenue for where things are at, and we also had a balance in that specific sector allocated for the budget of money left over. So, it had been doing kind of bad, but we've been wavering around 90,000, 105,000. That's kind of actually pretty good for, to pay in that much to allow people to eat throughout the entire year. I would say that's, reasonable to understand. Then we hit COVID, and you'll see here that this is starting to paint a picture of where we were currently at. You had the $849,000 of balance, but then you only brought in 2,181,000, and that's because, COVID hit about March. I don't remember the specific date, but, it hits March. And it kind of, throws off that entire semester because we have, like February, the cold season, and then March, and then people aren't coming in. And then you lose an entire, like almost like 500,000 in salary, or 400,000 that you would have received otherwise from those 3 months, and also throughout the summer that it's open. So you lose out on the rest of that for that entire year all the way into July 1st. So that's where you start seeing those big losses, back to where it was in 2015. Then you move on to the next year and you start having some recovery with like limited masking and stuff like that. And you'll see that like there's the net. It did a little bit worse, but you need time to recover, right? Then you get to 2022. It's you start having a little more revenue, so it's a big increase because of people coming in there. But the expenses are just shooting through the roof. It's double the amount of expenses, and you see here that the net is it's steadily increasing. Moving on to 2022, it does go down a little bit, but 913,000. That's still losing about $100,000 for a yearly operation. And you'll see here that we're losing out money because we don't have the COVID relief funding anymore, and that doesn't fill in the gap of what we needed to cover to remain financially solvent for this area. So you move into here, and then you don't get the COVID relief funding anymore, and we're down $913,000. The budget was that we planned to lose only $615,000. I don't know how we actually did. And when we obtain those numbers, I'll be sure to share it with you. But this is the state of our finances for the cafeteria. And that's kind of why you hear complaints about, that currently the executive chef and the sous chef, like they think they're going through a hiring process now because people are shifting out of there. You have people complaining about the prices in the lunchroom. They increased from 2022, 2023, and again into 2023, 2024. So you have those things. People are wondering what the quality of the food. You have to go through catering, and it's just like, well, what are we going to do about this? So I think I set the stage for it. And the other thing too is, so there was one last thing I want to mention before I open it up to the rest of you. There's a requirement in club funding that we must use club funding in order to make requests. Or sorry, if you make more than $50 worth of requests for club funding, you have to go through catering. But catering can't really fund itself right now. So how are we supposed to expect people? I think it's on page 4. How are we supposed to expect people to go through catering, right? Food purchase for over $50. How can we go through catering when, in some cases, they forget that they have something going on because they're so busy and understaffed, and you have people working, at like really heavy hours, unable to take time off from time to time because they're understaffed from almost 5 people. I think it is. It's 3 to 5 people that they're downstaffed by. So they're going through a lot of services, but I really think that we need to suspend this rule that food purchases over $50. We should not require it right now while catering kind of gets themselves together. So that's kind of what I have to say. And now we can turn it over to the rest of y'all. What do you have to say about learning all this? Hand raised by Senator Wilkin.
Do we have the means to suspend that rule? Like, is that in our authority?
That is not in our authority. We can ask Sylvia Ramirez. The only reason I did not ask Dr. Sylvia Ramirez to do that is she's out of office Thursday, Friday. So she was out of office today. She's out of office Friday. So I thought, okay, well, this can wait to come to her desk until Monday and she can see that request. And I think if we say that Student Senate, like as a whole, is like supportive of this, then I think that would actually say a lot. So I think I'd have to draft up a resolution. I can give her the draft resolution after the weekend. I can, have it sent to you all. You can review it. And I can say, hey, we're seriously considering like sending this legal document to you, but I can actually talk to her earlier in the week and say like, this is in the works and like, we should probably suspend this until y'all get this figured out and maybe have a clause for when, you get into a situation like that, it's just like we're causing so much backlog for both clubs, the experience of clubs, and as well as catering, because they have to, manually reject all those requests. So I don't know what we can do other than ask her to do it because she has the authority to do that within her role.
By getting rid of it, do we have a solution of what we can do instead then? Because like if they won't support outside purchasing still, that seems like we're just hurting clubs.
No, so they will support it. We would suspend the rule. So okay, there's 2 things, 2 separate things. One is that we need the school to lift the $50 requirement. And then basically clubs would be allowed to, would allow clubs to purchase food for over $50 through using club funding.
Okay.
So that's what it's a 2-step thing. Yes. So let me clarify that. Good question. And I kind of forget sometimes because it's in my head, but not others. We could also just make it a higher amount temporarily. This would be a temporary ban, I think, for now, because she would have the authority to temporarily lift it. But I think if you wanted to change the numbers, that might be a different story. I don't know, though. I can ask her if it needs to be a higher amount. But the goal was to have catering so that we can, basically the goal was to make catering financially solvent. But they're actually not even able to fulfill the requests that we have of them. I've heard reports of people making requests and then not responding, or them even forgetting to actually fulfill that request. So it's getting to the point where it just doesn't make sense for that rule to exist right now. So that's what I'm thinking. Do you have a hand raised from anyone other than Annette? I'm just trying to get other people. I'm sorry, Annette. I don't want to. It's just I want other people to say I know you have very good ideas. I don't see anything else. So Annette, being an experienced club president for 2 years now, what do you have to say? Sorry, you're muted.
I'm not trying to be cruel to catering, but I threw it in the chat and I just want to mention that they have burnt foods and stuff, and there's no one here in the evening time to basically try and get that recourse, and there's no time to recourse it. And I know that's happened to the IE as well as BSU, and I'm sure some other clubs as well. And we've ordered simple things like pizza because that's the easiest thing to get.
Are you saying they have burnt foods, like they've burned it?
Yeah, last school year, I think Linda can attest to this. There were like a whole slew of pizzas that came brown when yes, they were cheese pizzas, but they came brown. We had something with
Oh.
Rise. And then I know we had something with BSU as well.
We can put that in the resolution. I think we have to write a resolution for this. So I have to my weekend assignment. We'll give it off to Hassan. I think we can approve this on Thursday. With some Hassan and Cameron, Maggie, and Angel looking at it. I'll send it off on hopefully Monday. I think I have time Sunday for this, so. Just write a quick resolution saying we support something like that. Obviously, I'll send it to everyone. So Annette, you can help me craft the language. You've always been really good at that. We'll have our legal team look at it. So that's legal here, Senator Cameron. So yeah, but I think everyone generally agrees. Do we have any other commentary on the food? Okay, we have a resounding it sucks, it sounds like. So maybe we won't put this on the I see two hands. I think I'll let Stacy go and then Nevaeh. So Stacy, what you got to say?
Are we just talking about like the catering or like also like the cafeteria food too?
It's both. Yep.
Both? Okay. Well, with like the cafeteria food, when we've eaten there, yeah, it's been pretty bad. And plus, people with, and we've had to ask because I've got nut allergies and stuff. So it's like we have to always ask, what they cook their oil in. And they use like peanut oil or soy oil, which makes it hard for those with nut allergies to eat at the campus. Because like when I eat it, I end up with having like an allergic reaction to it. So it's like I cannot enjoy like the campus food. And like when you guys cater, I can't, like if I'm able to come, I can't eat any of the food because of what they use to cook in. So it's like I just have to kind of sit there and chill by myself and watch everybody else eat.
No, I think it's important to respect dietary restrictions. That's one thing that when me and Ohio went to NACA in Indianapolis, that's one thing that several schools were looking at, expanding the dining options so that, yep, gluten-free, like, allowing for that, allowing for, vegetarian options. We do have the salad and stuff like that. So that's one thing that they've been trying to do that. Yep, you do not eat pork. I know several other people don't eat pork. So like having options for things like that, I think it's really important. So that's, we'll put that into I can try and put that in the resolution and, double check me, everyone, make sure I don't forget anything. Yes, Cole?
Well, but someone else wanted to talk with before me.
Yeah, Nevaeh and then Cole.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
I don't know if this is like bad, but like today, like some of the meat was like pink.
You mean like raw?
Like raw, like it was still like uncooked.
What was the meat?
A burger.
Oh.
And did you tell anybody?
No, it was somebody else eating it. I just realized that they always cook the burger that way. So when I go, I'm like, can you cook my burger well done? They're like, yeah. So I always waiting they cook my burgers well done that way. Because when you go, there's always like bread and produce. I'm like, I can't eat it.
I love eating burgers. Rare. Yeah, it's kind of a request thing. Certain thing. Okay. Well, maybe people should request like allow for that, or they should do like a medium standard, or can have a request. Moving on to Advisor Cole.
So I just want to clarify to make sure, because I don't want us to get lost in the weeds of something. Is the resolution we're going to talk about is that because we're not able to have the needs of the groups met is why we want to move forward with suspending the $50, correct?
Yes.
Wonderful.
That is the current rule. I do think that there's further. So sorry. Yeah, we are. You're right. Thanks, Cole. So the other thing that's happening is that we've had discussion about the dining room before. You're not a college student senate or a newspaper if you haven't written about how bad the cafeteria is. That's the joke at newspaper conferences that all these things are bad. But okay, we'll move on to Maggie after this. But one last thing I just want to say is that the resolution will focus specifically on that catering rule, but we do want to have further discussions once they get that the new executive chef in and the sous chef in. Then we'll allow for them to what's it called? Open up the food policy group because they want to have that.
So the only thing I was gonna say is when you talk about expanding things,
Mhm.
that might be a discussion for maybe even next semester, only because when you talk expansion, cost rise.
Yep.
So if we're looking at that, I just want us to be clear with that because I hear what you're all saying and you're right, working with college students, nobody likes dining hall food, no matter where it is you're at.
Mhm.
But I just want us to be clear that because you can make changes on certain aspects, but then there's some others where we want to talk about cost savings or being financially solvent.
I think people understand that though, Cole. People want it to be solvent, but they also want to pay for a good quality thing, right?
So,
Yeah.
yes, we can discuss more about that later, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. We don't have much time, but Maggie, you want to round us out?
I just want
Maggie, you
to
can
say
speak.
one more thing. I just want to say one more thing. I was looking through I wanted an adjustment about the executive groups, like the meetings we have, because usually if it's weekly, we don't have much to say. I was gonna say if we can
Maggie,
adjust. Uh-huh.
go for it. Go for it.
I
Go
was
for it,
gonna
Maggie.
say if we can adjust it to every 2 weeks, because mostly weekly we don't have a lot to say. So that we'll have time. But I'm just saying, like, just to vote on it next time or discuss it. I'm just suggesting that.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. We do want to make sure that when we're talking about things that are relevant to the discussion on the topic for business, we can message about that later. So maybe me and Cole and Hassan can say something about that later. But thank you for sharing. Okay. Moving on, we can move on to Student Achievement Center budget overview. So very budget heavy. If y'all ever wanted to be an accountant, this is the kind of things that we would discuss. So let's go ahead and share my screen again. We'll see here, me and VP Hassan Hashmi had a discussion with Dr. Tim Casper about the budget for the Student Achievement Center. And I have these two documents here. So I took screenshots of the spreadsheet because I wasn't able to get the spreadsheet in time. So I think it's practically the same as the spreadsheet. So what? Oh, you can't see it?
It's just really small.
What do I do?
If not, I can just
So
move forward.
normally,
Oh, that's not helping it. Okay, here's what we can do. Oh, wait, I think it's actually in here.
I'm introducing my special guest.
Hello, Lena.
And,
This is Lena Demarte. Demarte? That's what I thought. Okay.
Italian. I'm gonna go make your phone. Bye, everyone.
Hello. Come right into things.
Hi, where should I sit?
You can sit over here. Just sit on the table.
Okay.
How do I zoom in?
If you can't figure it out, it's fine. I can just move closer.
we can also make this, available, is that correct?
Yeah, we can make it available. It actually is in the Senate. If you have your computer open, you can look at it in the Senate. SharePoint, yeah. Okay, so hopefully people can see this. Basically, the Student Achievement Center is a academic resource that exists on the second floor. They are open for, they have spaces for people to study. They have computers. They have their writing centers housed within there, although the writing center is on a separate budget. They have study rooms that people can rent out, similar to the library. But the biggest thing that they have is tutors for each of the events. There's both staff tutors that are academic staff, and there's also peer tutors that are meant for certain subjects. I think a lot of people in this class are in OChem, and one thing that got cut was OChem budget. So I just wanted to overview what happened to the budget. So you see here, again, this financial history from 2019, 2020. You'll see here, this is where it used to be with student employees, and they had a pretty big budget, 343,000 total, 957. So that's kind of what it was. You'll see here that, they had membership subscriptions, stuff like that allocated. And the big one is this orange line here, student employees. So 144,000, 145,000 essentially. And you'll see here that what they actually spent is in the yellow. So this is what was in the budgeted for the green, and what they actually spent is in the yellow. So as you see, as it moves on, 2020, what happened in 2020? We had that COVID year. So there wasn't as many people allowed to be hired for tutors. And as you keep moving on, you'll see that this number is stuck around 102,273. You'll see it goes from 2021, 2022, 2023, you get an increase. 2024, you can't see it right now, but they don't have that increase. I'm gonna go ahead and open the other picture because now that we understand that that's where this what we're looking at is. Let's just move this up a little. So you'll see here that that we did decrease the budget again. So we actually spent 210,387 for 2023, 2024 on student employees. But so even though it was budgeted for 144,000, we ended up spending a lot because we found out that we needed tutors. But you'll see also here that in the yellow, that number, the total number, or sorry, in the green, the total number that has been allocated for the Student Achievement Center is 338. 330, it's going down. 310, it's going down. 276 this year. That is, let's see what percent, what is that? 276, 226 divided by 310, 708. That's an 11% budget cut overall. And specifically, if you look at the spending from 210 to 102 that they're trying to allocate towards, I'm not really sure how we're supposed to do that. They're already experiencing cuts to operation hours. They had to hire, I mean, this one kind of makes sense, but international students basically can't work there now because they have to have preference for work study students because there's free money on the table. It makes sense to take it, but it does suck for our international students that do rely on that as a source of income. So like, how do we make room for them, but especially when you're also simultaneously cutting hours? And then they're also not hiring as many peer tutors. So that's kind of where this reduction in budget is that if you don't have anyone covering these subjects, especially when you get to higher up subjects, who's going to help with that? So that's kind of a discussion up on the table. I just wanted to give some context to this. I'll leave this up here as we discuss, but we're kind of open now for discussion. So what do we have to say about this?
Senator Crowder put something in the chat.
What does Senator Crowder have to say? Okay, let's go ahead and read this. Despite, are they upping the teacher hours in SAC as part of the solution of justification? If you're under RISE, they have some tutors available that can cover some students. I wonder if people are allowed to go to RISE if they're not part of it, because I know that they're supposed to be helping those students, but I wonder if it could be like a RISE study group. I mean, that could actually be something. I don't know what subjects they have available, but I do know that for certain things, I know people have been complaining about it. And I've heard even reports that they aren't allowed to, they don't have enough money for simple things such as hand sanitizer tissues or staplers. So, if we're not able to fund some of these basic costs, and the other thing too is that the amount of students that we were having every single year, the amount of students has been going up ever since COVID. So we're getting higher and higher enrollment numbers, but we're funding less and less of the Student Achievement Center. And how can we expect more students to achieve if we put less money into it? I do see a hand up from Senator Wilkin.
I'm just looking at 23 and 24. It is the only year where we outspent our budget. Every other year we were in line with it, and we way overspent it. So I just wonder why. What exactly? I can see that the student spending is more for student execs, but it's not necessarily like we haven't had this problem the previous 10 years where we needed more tutors. So what is the problem now?
I don't know what happened to that, but in 2022, 23, you'll see that they did overspend by a little bit. So it goes from 102 to 273, which is budgeted, and then we go to 138,000 is what was actually spent. And then you look at the year before, yeah, the big jump is the 144 to 210. And I think what happened there is that they had a grant covered, so they anticipated receiving more money from a grant because it was supposed to be originally 102, but then because of the grant, they thought they could cover some of it. But then there's this deficit that ended up happening where they weren't able to cover a lot of it. And I think that's what brought this into control. So when you have that $102,000 and then they started making all these cuts to it, I think the bigger issue is like, okay, I understand you need financial solvency. I understand that everyone needs to tighten their pocketbooks when we need to be able to support things. But the bigger issue I have with it is that no one was consulted with how we were going to do it. Why is the first time we hear about it is when it's already happened. So we don't really have a say in the matter until now. So I'm glad that I was able to obtain these along with Hassan. So Dr. Casper is working with us to allowing us to do it. But yeah, so Senator Crowder is making a point. The cafeteria can overspend but the SAC can't. Did they miscalculate something? But Cameron, I think you had a point to make.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was trying to say, like, it's not about the students, it's about the budget as a whole. I'm looking at these numbers here where we saved 14,000, 3,000, 13,000, 3,000, and then we're 77,000 over last year,
Mhm.
which I see that the biggest sum of that comes from the students. But if you look at all of our spending across, it is pretty similar. So I don't understand what would necessarily cause us to lose budget and also to be $100,000 or $77,000 over budget.
So you do notice that we are spending more, right? So that's what's going up too. But also, the budget overall is it's shrinking. So like if the green, you'll see that it's shrinking in certain areas, and a lot of areas where it's being cut. Let's try to identify.
Don't we have extra, like every year since COVID, we've had higher enrollment?
Yeah. So I don't know why it's
So how do we
shrinking
not have more money?
overall. The other thing that's happening is that in 2023, 2024, the SAC kind of had a resurgence. One of the numbers I'm working on obtaining, I need to actually find time to meet with the Christie, I think her name is, to work with her to see how the numbers of people who have attended the SAC has changed. I think what I've been told is that in 2023, 24, several students actually started attending the SAC, and I've heard that reports. This is what's called hearsay, or what's it called? Like
It's secondhand information.
well, they told me first, so yeah, okay, it's hearsay from me. I didn't personally experience, but what's the word? What's the word when someone experiences something and then you're reporting it?
If they experience something or report it to you and you're providing it to us.
No. Let's imagine I was that person and I was telling you. There's a word for that. It's illusion, or no?
Alluded to.
Alluded? No, it's not the word, but it's an allegory. Okay, that's whatever the matter is. People have said that they see. Huh?
No idea.
Am I saying? I've heard people say that more people go to the SAC and then go to the library overall as a place to study because of the tutors, which is why they've started providing more tutors. Now we're not able to have that. So the question here is one, how do we create a process with the SAC so that we can be, informed about these decisions, so that, the first time students hear it aren't when they come back to school and they realize, oh, well, now the SAC is not offering these resources anymore. I think that's kind of where I'm at. The second thing is, well, can we save the SAC? Where's the room in the budget for this? And that might not really be there, but we keep seeing, and I've shown you 2 spreadsheets now where these departments are operating at a loss, and it's kind of like, well, where are we going? What are we doing here?
Can you scroll back over to the far left to see what are the categories associated with the numbers?
Yeah, I can.
That's awesome.
Because like if they're cutting the budget in half, that half of the budget has to be put somewhere else, and it's not on there. That's where I'm like, we're missing, money's not making sense.
The overall budget has been lowering from every year. So if you see in 2021, 2022, the budget left over is 338,000. It goes down to 330, 310. It goes down to 276. And because I need to open up the other screen to look at it, but you'll see where it gets cut is clerical secretary PT. So they've been cutting part-time tutors that they've been hiring for certain subjects. So student help, they're still hiring students, but when you have part-time people, there was tutors that we brought in specifically to help with key subjects like math and like certain types of chemistry and physics. Now we don't have any of those because they don't have those part-time tutors anymore because they don't have the budget. So they've been trying to get rid of the community tutors, and they've been trying to source student help. But now, because some students that are in the higher levels don't have time to tutor, because we're a 2-year institution and several people are only here for 2-3 years, they're finding it hard to fill that gap.
Yes, my final question then is, if like looking from 2019 to 2022 through 3, like our budget was good and we were like right on the dot with it. But then all of a sudden our budget gets cut in half and now we're 77,000 over, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why would we cut the budget if we were using the whole budget already?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know what they were deciding. That's
See what I'm saying though? Like,
no, it doesn't make sense. And we tried to get some answers, but we didn't.
Okay, stop budget.
So from the email, let's stop sharing.
It's not the college, right?
The college does have some say. It does go through Dr. Casper. Let's find out.
Is it a
So the person in charge of this would be SAC budget. No, not this one. SAC. Let's go SAC. Would be Julie Gores. She's been working at the college for a while. But I didn't really like her answer. She says that there wasn't really a 75% reduction of the budget, but every single year the budget's been reducing itself. So I don't know about the spreadsheet she's looking at and how she's interpreting it, because we're looking at the same spreadsheet. But she says there hasn't been a reduction in the budget. But as you just saw, there was reduction in the budget. So I don't really know how they're interpreting it, but I think we want some general answers from people where they're at. I'm not going to share this since it was shared to me, and I just don't feel like sharing her personal one. If you want to look at it, that's fine, but I'm not gonna.
I know that's why.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I know you can't start sharing with me.
I feel like I shouldn't, but you can read it. But yeah, I just don't want to share it on the screen, you know.
No, you shouldn't share this with me, so
But yeah, so that's what they're telling me, that it was a flat budget decrease, but in some ways it was specifically for student help, but in other ways, they're reducing the SAC budget overall. And I just think it's a problem that they're not communicating with us about it.
Is she
So,
also in charge of the online project scene?
sorry?
Is she also in charge of the online program?
No, that's Julia Haslow. Yep. Or Hasley, I think. Yes, Cole?
I think if you're gonna bring back questions, I think one of the things to also understand one of the correlations I've seen is that every year paraprofessional help has remained flat, which then has meant fewer tutors. And then as you saw paraprofessional help start decreasing, the amount of student tutors started increasing. And so for this year, one thing I noticed is that they budgeted out 93,000 for paraprofessional assistants, only used 71, had greater tutors. Now, if you look at it, while they have dropped the amount of budgeted for student help, they have raised yet again the paraprofessional budget. So I think it's just something if you want to ask when we have that.
So I think are you looking at the right,
Yep,
so the green is the budget and the yellow is the expense.
Yes, so as the thing that's been the most flat is that they've been spending, I mean, in most years, they're spending close to $100,000 for paraprofessional help.
Yep.
For every year. And then as that number that they're budgeting out for the paraprofessional help, typically if that gets lower, minus 23, 24, the student help budget increases. And so the one thing I've noticed as it goes across is this is the first time since way pre-COVID that they're budgeting out almost $100,000 for paraprofessional help, which hasn't reached that amount since pre-2019.
Mm-hmm.
So just a question to ask of like, when we talk about reducing the number of student tutors, what is the paraprofessional help increase scope? Is that individuals who can assist in those types of classes that we're talking about? Are those folks that they're bringing into that? Those are just questions I have, because you're right when it comes to federal work study, but federal work study is such a limited amount that it wouldn't really disinclude anybody who wanted to try and apply for that as long as they've shown the academic credentials. Just because federal work study is such a small thing now because of how much it's been cut. Just a question I want to ask, because you're right, federal work study is there, but it's 40% of what it used to be.
Really? Don't you get paid 50% of your salary from?
Me?
No, not you, like a person, the royal you, I guess.
It's 50 to 75 cents on the dollar is what federal work study would pay, but it's only for individuals of a certain income amount, and the program itself has been cut.
Okay, I'm not.
Those are
familiar
questions
with
I
that,
asked.
so. That winner.
We'll go to Yolanda's question, then Annette, and I think that's going to be posted.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
Okay, and that is for me.
We have 8 minutes left on this, so Annette, you can go.
I guess I have a couple questions that are out there for them. Can we find out if there's any way to combine, I guess, some of the resources as far as the SAC and the library? If that would help in any sort of way, maybe move the tutors to the library or something. I don't know. It seems to me though, it maybe be a little bit easier to go the other way around just because or at least tutoring wise, okay, anyways, that's just going off on a tangent. And then my other thought is that, the wage that students are paid that have the ability to do that type of tutoring, maybe that's a wage that needs to get increased, because I'm pretty sure student wages are capped at $16. And that's after you've
Yeah,
been with
they
the
are.
college for a year.
Yeah, in a particular position, because I've been in college for the year, but because I'm in a different position, being from vice president to president, it actually doesn't qualify, so I get paid 15 instead of 16. So that's kind of how it works. When the library, with the library budget, the SEC budget, they are separate. So I don't know anything about the library budget. I did meet someone who's actually I think her name's Julia. She's on the textbook affordability. Do you know the librarian who's on the textbook affordability?
No, we haven't met.
Oh, okay. You're on the committee though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe you haven't met that librarian lady, but that's kind of what's going on there. So I don't know if you could combine the two of the resources or not. I don't know. I think that the managers for that. Well, the same person actually, Julia Gores. She's in charge of both the library and student activities achievement center. So I don't know. I think at some point we might have to ask her to come in and talk about it and explain the budget a little bit more. And I think that day when she does come in, we might have to, have a very long open session questioning. But does that answer your questions, Annette? Annette, I think you're frozen maybe? Maybe I'm frozen. Oh no.
I'm sorry, I
What'd you
thought
say?
I was nodding my head saying yes.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't tell. My bad. Okay, well, that's cool. Elon.
I'm saying if we can get a higher budget for next year, that would be cool. But if not, is it possible that we can get some volunteers for SAC?
From Madison College or?
Yeah, I mean, can we get some like students from PDK to volunteer in SAC?
That is actually a great idea. It would
You
be.
do know there's a thing called presidential challenge, right?
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah,
So
Yeah,
if-
I'm in PTK as well.
So if we can make that
Mhm.
to become as part of your presidential challenge, your 100 hours
Mhm.
of volunteering. So, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Can we make that happen?
I do. That's actually a very clever, resourceful idea, Elon. That's why you're finance, VP finance. We could talk to them about that for sure. And I think the volunteer center could potentially even help out with that too. So it depends on which organization kind of wants to take on that role, because it's a volunteer thing, but it's also an academic thing. And I've always liked the idea of people giving back with that sort of tutoring. So if we could make a formal tutoring program through PTK, that could be really interesting, because then you get your volunteer hours and you'd be addressing a need from people. AmeriCorps is practically that, right? Except they get paid very interestingly. But we could also maybe get an AmeriCorps position where they tutor at our school. So that could be really interesting if we could get AmeriCorps to sponsor us for that. These are very innovative ways of looking at it.
If that's feasible, should we start like as soon as possible?
Yes, we would not be
Because
able to get.
Because we are short of tutor right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
The thing that we'd be able to do, I don't even think we'd be able to do it right now. I think the quickest you could get this to happen is if we talk to PTK about it and we started it for next semester. Because I think it's a lot to start up an entire program out of nothing, really, essentially, because I don't think we've ever done something like that before. So I'll just be real with you. Potentially, they could get that set up. I can talk to Ratesy and we can like send out a thing and say something that we've done before and ask them if that's something they'd be willing to take on. In terms of, talking about AmeriCorps, that's something that could potentially happen next year, although it seems like that might not be able to happen within the course of a year, but that's a longer term solution that would be a way to get federal funds to kind of solve that issue. But these are great ideas and I hadn't thought of them myself, and,
I'm just saying,
thank
if
you to two of
if
you.
we can get more funds for that next year, it can be a compensate option.
Yeah, because that would come from federal funds. We actually wouldn't have to do anything other than sponsor their work hours and make sure that they're working. So it might be a slight administrative burden, but for the amount of help that we'd be getting, it'd be a heavily subsidized cost for, basically federal dollars to take care of 90% of, what this person would be doing, teaching, doing some volunteer teaching. So yeah, I really like these ideas. That's good. Yeah, congrats to the two of you. Hassan, we were just having a discussion about the SAC. If there's any additional comments you want to make with our last 2 minutes left. Oh yeah.
I don't have any comments, but I guess you guys talked about higher classes tutors.
Mhm.
Just like
physics, organic chemistry. stuff like
We did
that.
talk about
Yeah.
that, yeah, the lack of people for, it's when it comes to the sciences, I think people really need the help.
Mhm.
And that's where we're having the lack of help. Because those are the higher level and I don't know, it's kind of hard to do that. So getting the lower level things available,
Yeah.
that's really possible, but it's not for other people. So yeah, I think we got really good ideas and we'll be able to come forward to both Dr. Giles as well as Dr. Tim Casper. And then maybe we'll have a conversation with Julie Gores to come in and talk about why the budget was made that way. So yep, we'll bring him in at some point. I think that's, if there's no other comments, we have a minute left. I think we can move on. Okay, thank you everyone for participating in this. Moving on, we can talk about academic programming suggestions for improvement. It was budgeted for 25 minutes. I would like to maybe take about like 10 minutes on this. Let me just preface this. There's a certain class, it's for the biotechnology program, and essentially their chemistry class, a lot of people in biotech, they work long hours, second and third shift. Oftentimes they have to work the weekend because that's where you get the rate differentials. You make an additional like 2 hours for working on weekends, $2 an hour for working on weekends, and you make an additional like $1 or even $2 if you work third shift, depending on when that is. So it's financially incentivized to work those weekends. But if you have a class, a biotechnology, where people are working as lab techs actively at places like Exact Sciences, like PPD, like I don't know any of the other ones because I'm not a biotech person, but those are two places that people work those second, third shifts. They have the homework assignments that are released on Thursday and due on Tuesday. But if the working hours for people are Thursday through Sunday, you essentially have no time to get that done other than Monday. So really all they were asking for was to allow that homework to be opened up on Tuesday so they can have that extra time to do the homework earlier before the lecture happens, because they go to lecture on Tuesday, Thursday, and then they can't do anything until Monday. And it's kind of like not a lot of time to get your homework done if you need to ask for help. So that's where this all came from. But I'm sure many of you have experiences in your classes where you feel like something could be changed, it could be easily changed, but it's not happening. So I just wanted to have this time for people to talk about, like, what are some ideas you have for your classes? And like, maybe we need to figure out how to actually get these changes happen, because we're student senate and academics are really important to you. And if you're going to school and you're not getting your education's worth, or it's becoming a challenge, I think we're supposed to actually be able to improve that, or at least that's what I hope Senate can do. So open it up to everyone. What y'all like to say?
Wait, are you talking about tutoring again?
Not exactly. Just class experience in general. Like, is there something happening in your classes that you think maybe we could improve upon?
I mean, I'm in the biotech program.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
So this is the chemistry class. This is the
Yeah.
organic chemistry, the 5 credit one that you have to take.
it's depend because we have different kind of chemistry. We have some that we're taking like the general chemistry that we're taking here.
Mhm.
And depend on your instructor, it's generally like morning and you have like 2 class, like 2 days in a week. But when you take the chemistry, especially like to the biotechnology program, that is happen every morning. So it's like from uh it is 1 hour 2 times a week, and the last time is 2 hours of lab work.
The lab, yep.
Yes. So we don't have a lot of like third shift actually, because I was in class until like 4:20, and that was the last time that we had class.
Sorry, let me clarify. They're going to work at their job at third shift. So the workers, they work third shift, they work from like midnight to 6 a.m. or something like that, or probably up to probably like 11 o'clock to 7. Like that's 8 hours. So yeah, or some of them work 10-hour shifts sometimes because they're doing 4 10-hour shifts to get their work in and make a salary to take care of their family or whatever. But that's what I meant. Yes.
I think if we want to change something, that would be the early classes, because we have a lot of 8:30 classes. Like I was in class from 8:30 until like 4:30 today. And so that is like a long like day of classes, and you'll be in lab for about 3 or 4 hours sometimes. So that can be like sometimes like tired. Especially if you work like during the night, you come at class at 8:30. So they can probably change or push like the 8:30 classes to probably 9:30 or 10. I think to the people who work like 30, they can have some time to rest before to come in classes. So I think that can be like something that could really be like helpful.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Does anyone else have any? I know that Aaliyah, so this is Aaliyah. How do you say your last name? Dua?
Dua.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure about that, but yeah, Aaliyah. So we have a thing called lend your voice. So if you have anything to share on like academic stuff, I mean, it could be Interesting, but at first we'll have Annette go, but think about that. I just want to let you know you can be part of the conversation. Just let me know and I will lend my voice to you. Annette, go for it.
I guess the one thing that's really bothering me with my program is I'm in the human services program, and some of the internships are paid and are not. And the way that that impacts someone when your internship is not paid is that it just sucks. I have like no real extra time right now to collect hours from Rise or another job. So I just wanted to mention that I think it should be one or the other. Either the college connects with individuals or talks to them about some sort of making it, some sort of way of making the internships paid when they're required for graduation. That's the other thing too, is my internship is a requirement for me to graduate for 2 semesters. I have to intern at least 12 hours a week. And then like I'm in the process of, of course, advocating for myself. And so I discovered a temporary loophole that I don't know if I'll get approved for, but there's Wolfpack Pay where I could get up to 200 hours paid. That doesn't even cover a semester of 12 hours a week. So just going to throw that out there. And I do agree about the release date thing too. I don't have that problem right now with my courses, but I hear that the release dates are kind of all over the place for depending on which program you're in.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. If you could put the Wolfpack paid link in the chat, if you have that, I think that'd be a really valuable resource for people. The other thing too is, to me, it feels like people are paying to do an internship that you don't get money for. And it's just like, it's a lot to ask people for when it's a requirement of your program. So I feel like you can require people to do an internship, but you can't ask them to pay for it. I just don't understand that. Cole, maybe you have some, does Whitewater, are you putting your hand up or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
point of information.
No, please, yeah, give us some information. I'm
Awesome.
not familiar with this.
No, you're good. So I'll tell you that if you want to become any type of an education professional and go to get like your bachelor's, 95% of all student teaching placements are unpaid.
Mhm.
And you do that for an entire semester. The only ones that are paid are through either specific jobs that has you doing additional work, or if it's private school.
Mm.
So when when the statement's brought up, it should be one or the other. The individuals who are getting paid probably are coming from some private interest that is funding that. But in most situations, especially for folks who have to do like, when you're working through the education program, you have 3 semesters in which you have to go to placements, and at those placements, you're not paid. And I agree with you, it's not great, not nice, but most of the time, that's actually what most of it falls to. Same thing if you're going for like a counseling program or something like that at most major colleges and institutions.
I just don't, but do you pay to have credit to do an internship though? Are you supposed to do that?
So the internship, or so like for their student teaching placement, yes, that is their 12 credits.
You pay for that?
They pay for it, like, it's a typical course, yes.
Oh,
But again, that's
my.
also covered, what's the difference with here, that's covered under your financial list.
Okay.
If you are able to acquire that at most 4-year institutions,
Mm.
that part is there. But then again, the most individuals are trying to work additionally to save additional money. There's other statistics with it, but that's what I just want to say.
I see. Okay. Thank you. Is that your hand raised?
Yeah, well, I have a comment to add.
Sure. Okay.
It's a
Hassan?
quick comment. So the whole point of this conversation here is that we want to hear student concerns and we want to forward them to the deans of those schools.
Yes.
We don't know, because like there's a student struggling, but there's other students with you that also struggling, but they don't come here to speak about it. And we can have a meeting with those deans of those schools and address these concerns. So yeah, I wanted to add that.
No, that's important, Hassan. I really like that. Annette, I think we have to move on for where the time's at. But Annette, if you could just type what you have in there. But I just wanted to do one last thing and share with everyone. So we'll move on. But I want to share something with people. Where are we at? We're almost at time. I just wanted to quickly share presentations. I wanted some people's commentary on this classroom presentation here. Am I sharing my screen yet? No, I'm not.
Oh, can I say something?
Yes.
Before we move on?
Lend a hand to Aaliyah. Aaliyah, what do I call you? Like guest or
Guess is
just
fine.
students?
Or, like,
Aaliyah Dua?
students.
No, STEM ambassador. STEM
Oh,
ambassador
God.
Aaliyah Dua. Yep, that's what
I
you're
forgot
here
what
as.
they're on. I was working. I really appreciated the whole conversation about the Student Achievement Center and the funding and all of that, because when you're taking higher level classes, it's really hard to find a tutor, especially when there's only one tutor who tutors like 50 different higher level classes. And it's like, you go in during their hours and there's like 6, 7 other students crowded around him. And then your instructor has like ridiculous office hours. Like my instructor has office hours from 8 to 9 a.m. and I have a class at 8:30, so there isn't really any time. And she is also my advisor, so we do meet bi-weekly, but it doesn't help when I meet her bi-weekly if I have a quiz that week and I can't ask her a question until next week and there's no one else on campus to ask. So I was just really hoping that we could maybe figure out a way around that, maybe add more funding for more higher level tutors or just something at least.
Mhm. No, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. And it's good to have you here on the record saying that. So like you can say, Leah Dua demands it.
Oh, no, no.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I was just messing with you. But we will say that students have said this and that will believe us and we're all here to witness it. So we don't need to say names, but we can say that students have said this.
She's representing like 10 or 20 other students.
No, it's true.
It's
Yeah.
like everyone in
Yeah.
our class is having a difficult time.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing. Quick commentary on this. You all get 30 minutes. We're trying to blaze through this. This is the presentation for Student Senate. There's classroom presentations that we want to have. And basically, for the classroom presentation, I wanted to put together a short PowerPoint. There are 8 slides on it. I wonder if we can reduce this down though. But I'll be sending this all to everyone individually and please come with commentary on here. But basically here's slide 1, just like what we are. I think what I want to do is put the from Senate training, the high ropes course, or it might just be us like standing in our Senate jackets because I want them to get understanding that we're fun. So maybe the high ropes course will be the one. But some of these pictures are old, but I need to replace some of these pictures. But here we are at WSG. We're about to get some WSG pictures pretty soon. Here's Annette's from Black Student Union Group. Here's T from last semester doing a vigil. But here's like the mission statement of Senate. Here's the representation for students. So we got to replace some of these pictures here. This is a fun little video that we did last year. But this was also part of the 3-year plan presentation, talking about who's in Senate and just like what to do. Past accomplishments that we put on there. I think these are really big ones. Our 3-year plan, what we have. Issues that we want or things that are coming up. Maybe we could cut this slide actually. And then just any questions if people want to talk to you in class. But I don't know. The first thing that actually stands out to me is that maybe we can cut this. But I don't know. But what do we all think? Does anyone have any immediate feedback? Senator Jackson Winters? No? Okay. Sorry. I mean,
I know you.
I will add the training photo. I think that'll be the cover photo too.
Yeah, the higher road one. That
Yeah.
would be nice to show like, oh, it's not just like talking and meeting every time. We do like some activity, outdoor activities. I think that is something that you should add.
I think I'll put our Senate jacket one here, and I think the high ropes course will be the cover. I think that will be the cover of it all. Yes, there you go, Senator Jackson Winters.
So this is for like the classroom presentation, so.
Yes.
I thought maybe a good idea is maybe like, I don't know, we could add like the people that are currently in Senate. So like maybe using those like templates, but I don't know.
Oh, we just took pictures from Goodman South. Yes, I have those photos. Let's do that.
No, I mean like the people that are like in there now
Mhm.
and kind of like, like how the Canvas stuff that I made, like maybe like getting to know like on
Oh,
a more personal level and then.
yes,
like, not
that's what you mean. We can
random
definitely
people.
include that.
But I don't want to make the slide too long than it needs to.
Okay. Senator
You
Jacobson?
can condense them by showing them in like a short video clip, kind of like a slideshow or collage or something like that.
Yeah, if we could make a 1-minute video thing, I don't think we'll be able to get that ready by this semester, but if Brian has been wanting to make a video, maybe that can be his video idea. Okay, well, we'll have to talk about this again next week. Let me make just something quick.
I noticed on the WSG photos, there was a picture of the Hodag. Can we go visit the Hodag and kind of?
We can visit the Hodag. That's something we do every year, so we'll do that afterwards. Don't you worry. But yeah, we are
so.
We are over time, so I'll replace some things. I've heard some of your comments. We'll talk about this again next week. The only things is that everyone gets 30 minutes, but we'll just go through our announcements quick. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, October 10th in room C2402 at 4:30 PM. Student voter engagement team. Sorry?
No, I'm just gonna motion to.
Oh, yeah. Announcements, student voter engagement team. There are fireside conversations. I'll send it out to everyone so they can look at it. But that's where we're at with there. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Wait, no, wait.
Do you have
Oh,
another?
can you put the design for the t-shirt, please? The color?
No, it's not on there. We'll do it. Can we send it out?
I mean, if you wanna use it for the autumn, we need to order it like next week. So we need like,
I'll send it out tomorrow morning and
Yeah.
we'll make any comment, come back before executive council. We'll make our decision then, because by that time, O'Brien should have everything situated for what we want it to look like. Is that correct?
okay.
Because we're gonna have to vote on it next week anyways, so it'll be fine. And so he'll send it out. We'll talk about it in all of our committee meetings. I'll just ask all of them to share it in their committee meetings, so everyone will see it. Because everyone theoretically will go to the committee meetings. So
Okay.
sorry we couldn't get to it, and that's my
fine,
fault,
no
so,
worry.
yeah. But anyways, motion to adjourn. Senator Wilkin?
Yes.
Okay, second made by VP Salifu. So any opposition? Hearing no opposition, motion passes. If there, you vote by unanimous approval, motion passes, no one opposes.
Already.
Yeah, but
Wait.
like that.
Wait, let's just finish this quick. No one opposes, then this motion passes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, meeting adjourned at 6:32 PM. Everyone take 30 minutes of overflow time for your ops hours. Thank you.